Okay, here's the process. Here's how it works. All right, you submit the product. I do recommend you use an inventor notebook. I don't know if they're still valid or not. These attorneys can probably help you more than me, but back in the day we used to use one. I don't think it hurts. So it's a good way to keep your ideas recorded there. You submit the product. What I want is a link. And in the email, I want the name of the product in the subject line, and my email date and time stamps all the email. And then I need a link to your video or website. Or if you're submitting a link as a product scout, I want a link to whoever else's, and I'll explain more about that. You submit them in the same way, because at the beginning of the process, we don't care whose idea it is. We only care if we can do something with it or we can't. The rest of it gets sorted out later. At the beginning, you submit the product to me. I'm going to immediately reply back within 3 days or less, or a week at the longest, yes or no. And if I say no, then I'm going to tell you exactly why, related to the 7 criteria, so you can learn. If I say yes, then it means you made it to the top ideas of the week. Every Thursday at 10 a.m., we bring the top ideas of the week. We all sit together in a group, and we review them, and we do thumbs up, thumbs down. That's for if you're going to get a full licensing agreement. Those are the committee reviews. And that process takes every Thursday at 10 is a big meeting, and then after that, the meetings, the ones that go through that, go to another set of investors that are located around the country. So that takes, another 2 weeks, sometimes 3. The very worst case scenario is 4 because people are traveling, but generally about 2 weeks. And it'll come back, and I'm going to be keeping you in the loop the whole time. I'll say, okay, you made it to Thursday. Now you're going to make it for another 2 weeks. But you've got to keep track of your own products, and it's your responsibility to follow with me. So that's how it works. So let's say we make it to that point. That's when we offer you a term sheet. Let's say you got thumbs up all the way through, and we say we like it. We want to test the item. We're going to give you a term sheet at that point that will list your royalty rate on it. It'll list that you are in fact the product owner. It'll tell you what we're going to do in terms of the market viability test, and that is the point that I do recommend you think about getting a patent. My understanding, based on the U.S. Patent Office Independent Inventor Conference that was held in Wichita, Kansas, where I talked to 3 of the John Calvert and Tony Evans and the other lady, and there's videos on my YouTube that explain this. There's a thing called the grace period. Now, for any other market segment, I'm not speaking about that. I do recommend for every other market segment you strongly consider getting a patent. I'm just talking about this one segment. Go ahead.
Just comment. The grace period is a U.S. thing for 1 year.
Yes.
If you disclose it, as you have in this process, you cannot get patent outside the United States.
Okay, but you have 12 months. My understanding is you have 12 months from the date of the first public disclosure.
To get a patent in the United States.
Yes.
But you lose all rights to get one outside the United States.
Internationally. Good to know. So so the way the grace period works is you have 12 months from the date of the first public disclosure to file a patent in the United States, but you've lost your international rights to a patent. Okay. So in my way of thinking, when you're doing your submission to me and our committee reviews, that's not a public disclosure. That's a confidential private submission. People can argue it. This is how I'm interpreting it. Talk to your attorneys. When we do an email test, that is a public disclosure. We're going out to the public and we're going to ask them to buy this product. All right? You have 12 months to file a patent. I recommend that you wait till that results of that test come back. Generally, it's 30 to 180 days, so you're well under the 12 months. And if you're going to file a patent in our category, I think that's a good time to do it, because if you have a successful test, then at least you're spending money that it's a better chance of succeeding than, up front. This is just, if you're going to be submitting a lot of ideas, it would get expensive to submit a lot of patents. That's the only reason I say that. If you've got lots of money to burn, or you want to do it yourself, or you have good attorneys, then you should do it. It's your own choice. I'm just telling you. Okay, let me go from the other, let's let the other attorney have a question.
Yes, the internet/email test.
Yes.
What does that consist of? Is that video, or is that what we would think of as printable copy?
what is the internet email test? There's 3 levels of tests there. There's actually a survey, an internet email, and a 2-minute TV spot right in there. Here's what we do. The survey is just a survey of the problem. We don't even survey what the product is. We survey the market and ask, do you have this as a problem, and if this were a product, would you buy it? So the results are subjective, but sometimes it will come back. It's uncannily accurate, but you could argue it. So the survey comes back. If that comes back yes, then we move to the internet email test, and that is an email that goes out, and we make a website as well. We do all this. We pay for all this. We make the website, and then we put the video on the website if there is a video. If there's not, we can use a graphical representation of the product, or if you've got a decent prototype with the 3D printing, you can do some pretty good prototypes. So we'll use whatever the best that we can come up with to do the test. That's step 2. Step 3 is the 2-minute TV spot. Usually we need a decent looking prototype for that, but we haven't produced anything yet. We generally are not in manufacturing. Now, if an inventor comes and they're already in manufacturing, or it's an item in limited distribution already selling, that's a whole different game because they're already in manufacturing. They already have some level of market viability testing done because they're selling the product. So we'd probably want to move right to the 2-minute test for something like that, and there'd be some other kind of arrangement that we would make. Maybe that's a partnership kind of opportunity or something like that. Does that answer your question?
Yes,
Okay.
because it turns out that that internet or email test has a disclosure. That is all the information you're going to disclose at that point. And at that point, it would become public. I'm going to make a recommendation that when that information is prepared, the inventor spend $125, slap provisional patent application cover sheet on that material, and file it as a provisional patent application.
Okay, that's a great suggestion. So he's making the recommendation that upon that, at the beginning of that process, you, for $125, slap the information together and file your own provisional or get an attorney.
Well,
File your own or get an attorney.
Your own.
You know,
I'm
if
never
you can
gonna
do it
say
on your
don't
own,
do
do it. If you can't do it on your own, hire an expert, because experts are good if you can't do it on your own.
So the question is your process open to making that content available to the inventor?
It would depend. He's asking, is our process open to making that content open to the inventor? In a 100% licensing agreement, we reserve we own all of the information at that point. So the inventor may not. They're usually involved in the process because they know the product and they know the problem, and we want their expertise. But if we're paying all the bills, then we own the information. If they want to partner and people want to put some skin in the game, that's very selective, but if people want to do that, then they do get more ownership of certain materials. So my answer is maybe, depends.
Because the key point here is that content is the disclosure.
Yes, that content is
If that is
disclosure.
filed as a provisional patent application just before publication, you have now preserved your international rights.
Okay, so you're saying if that is filed in a provisional patent prior to disclosure, you've preserved your international
That's
rights.
correct.
Yeah? Good.
Is that between step 2 and 3?
Before,
Before
it
step
would
2.
basically be when I give you the term sheet and you sign off, at that point, or prior to us actually doing the test, if you could get ownership of the test or get the negotiation to agree that you do that, then you could. And I honestly don't think that would be that big of a problem. We're not trying to keep people from patenting stuff. We want it protected too. I mean, protected is better than not protected, but, you know.
And for that
I think that's a
purpose-
great idea, actually. I
for
really
that-
like it.
For that purpose, we don't care about the test results.
Yeah,
We care about what you disclose.
right. That's good. Okay, here.
My question is, since, like you said, you have a vested interest because you're taking it for operation marketing and all that stuff, why aren't you filing the patent? And if you want the inventor to, how do you integrate yourself into the filing of that patent?
How do we integrate ourselves in the filing of the patent? We do not. We don't care if it has a patent or not. We're not involved at all. If an inventor wants a patent, an inventor should go get a patent. It's not relative. A patent does not mean your item's going to sell. It means you have intellectual right over that item. we're all about, will the product sell? We just care if people will buy it. We're not worried about the intellectual property. The inventor worries about the intellectual property, so if they want to protect it, they should protect it on their own, in their own way. Okay, let me go here. Go ahead.
Since your whole thrust here is 1 to 5 years, the patent is not even an issue for you.
Yes.
If the inventor sees in their thing or believes in their thing is their market beyond that 5 years in other venues, the patent question is open to him for consideration. But as far as you're concerned, it's not even on the table because your market is only 5 years.
Yes, he's saying that it generally isn't an issue because our market's only 5 years, whereas it takes 3 years to get the utility anyway. Here.
Isn't the inventor gonna have an agreement with you at that point that's not gonna allow them to sell it to anybody else anyway?
Yes, the inventor does give us exclusive rights to sell and market the product for a period of time.
So it'd be
When-
after that
When is
time
that
period.
agreement done? After the 2 minute?
We agree with the term sheet, has the length, the term of the contract on it.